Good morning. It's 9 o'clock somewhere. I really appreciate the hearty group that came out in the rain today. Thank you so much for coming today. And we had handouts today. Those that did not get a handout and want a handout, please raise your hand and we'll have some folks get it to you.
Excuse me, Dave.
So we'll start off with our normal trivia. Safety and Wellness Month is this month. Father's Day is June 17th, and Men's Health Month, I think that must be a corollary. Father's Day and Men's Health Month. Anyway, and National Flag Month and Hunger Awareness Month. The other thing it is going to be, we'll get to it a little later, think about volunteering. So the agenda today is membership, computer club matters, training, computer and community matters, and our topical speaker, which is in black on purple, which you can't read. You'll see it later. And I'll bet you, from the handout, I'll bet you know what we're talking about. So the financial report still shows we're solvent. We've given Grafton Food Pantry $679 so far this year. That all helps. So the little pots in the back count up. We provide you with donuts. We provide you with coffee. You help us with Grafton. Thank you so much. Any questions about the dollars? Hope not. Okay, so this will identify what we're going to be talking about next month, which is 5 things you need to know on how to do on your computer. That may attract you back. We're not going to tell you who's talking or what those 5 topics are. Come and find out. The upcoming classes we'll talk about in a minute. And we still need some volunteers, which we'll talk about shortly. And safely recycle your laptops, your desktops, your tablets, whatever, at the club. We also need parts for those pieces that you're going to come in and bring in for recycling. We clean them up and we do a very good job of that, but we also salvage some parts so that we can answer the phone. Okay, as you know, our membership creeps up all the way to July and then it sort of drops off with those that forgot to renew. But we've got the renewal outside for those that are remembering, and the membership is now $17.38. Thank you very much. Now the hard part. We continue to need volunteers to do some things. And we've talked about it for 3 months, and now the day of reckoning has arrived. And I know we're talking to the hardcore group here, but we do need 3 volunteers to alternate doing the coffee setup. Right now, Jim and I did it last night, but we do need 1 person or 2 persons to assist in that. We had a long-term helper that, we've got a volunteer already. Terrific. And we need 2 more. There's another one. Great. What's involved is you have to come in on Friday night, set up the pots, fill them with water, put the coffee in, and leave. And set the timers, excuse me. And it is about a 45-minute task. Except last night there was a golf outing and we had to divert to a different room. And Jim or I or others would be happy to help orient you and instruct you and prepare you. We'll do it a couple of times with you or whatever. But we do need some volunteers, and I'm glad that we got 2 out of what, 200? What percentage is that? I don't know whether it's 1. Anyway, And I'm sure that Judy Bernstein would appreciate volunteers to help set up donuts. You might even get a donut. You would have to come in at 8 a.m. instead of 8:30 a.m., but that works too.
You gotta get one more volunteer.
Oh, that's right. We need one more volunteer. We have 2 volunteers. Any other suckers?
There's over there. There's a hand over there.
Oh, we got another hand. Thank you very much. John, did you get that one over here?
No.
Okay.
You make me feel so bad.
And Jim is again talking in my ear saying he will be happy to help, guide them, instruct them, and turn it over to them. Okay, July 14th is our next meeting. As you know, we are on a funny schedule this year. We're on second Saturday. I have applied for first Saturday so that we could return to our normal time for meetings in 2019. And we're working on that. And without further ado, we'll have Ralph come up and talk about the classes that are scheduled and what other good ideas our coordinator has.
Well, Dave, we got a lot of good ideas, we just have to have instructors, but always looking for more instructors. Normally, we don't have classes in July, August, and December, but Steve and Bill have both said that they be interested in possibly putting on Android and Android tablets and phones, and Bill with the iPhone and iPad in July. So we watch your email. We may have some classes on both of those topics because there seems to be a lot of interest in both phones and pads. We do have an iPhone, iPad class coming up on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we got Snapseed. I don't even know what it's about. I know Frank's going to put on Snapseed, so it's got to have something to do with pictures. He invented Picasa, and now it's Google Photos, and now he's going to Snapseed. Hard to tell him what's coming next. But Frank will have that class on Tuesday. Huh? Editing, oh, it's on your phone, right? Phone editing with Snapseed is something pretty new. So if you want to mess with your pictures on your phone, try to make his class on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, George is going to have a class on cloud computing. I know we all talk about it, it's in the cloud, and most of us know about, well, there's clouds in the sky, it must be up there somewhere. So George will be talking about cloud computing. And like I say, watch your email, because Jim has been really good about getting the class schedules out on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays on the upcoming classes. Thank you.
As a friendly reminder, if you have not renewed and you come to next month's meeting, that's too late. That'll be July. The dues are due before the 30th of the month, so please take this as your friendly reminder. It's not too much to ask, $5. Okay, community activities. There's a summer concert on June 21st. There's the patriotic concert on the 23rd, and the golf, that precedes the golf cart parade. All of those are free, like the donuts and coffee, come on. The next important thing that you need to be aware of, and I'm probably not supposed to spread the word yet, but Ion Film Crews will be on campus on June 20th. You're probably all aware of the fact that we are in the top 100 communities in the country, and they're going to be videoing our activities and those kind of things. So I don't know whether that means you're supposed to wear your bikini or whether you're supposed to wear a burqa. Your choice. But they will be on campus on the 20th of June. The new resident orientation will be on July 13th at 9 a.m. And everybody needs to start planning for August 7th which is when you get free food over at Eakin Field while you watch a ball game.
Excuse me,
Question,
not a question, just, did you also mention that there's an Honor the Veterans ball game on June 30th at Eaton Field?
I didn't know
Starts
that.
at 3 o'clock.
June 30 at Eakin Field, there will be an
Honor the Veterans ball.
Honors of Veterans ball game. June 30th,
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. We will not pray for rain. Okay, the board meeting this month is June 27th at 9 a.m. in this hall. More importantly, we have 5 volunteers to assist in coffee and rolls, and or rolls. And I want to thank you for doing that. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce Rob Avang, and he's from the library, and he is so knowledgeable about cutting the cord. That's why we gave you the handout. He is the source of a great deal of information. We had a couple of guys that had attended his course over at the library, said it was outstanding. That's good enough for me. Rob, welcome to our club.
All right, good morning. My name is Rob Aving. I am a reference librarian as well as their computer instructor. I've been there for 11 years. Thank you, Marilyn. So I was really excited when they actually asked me to develop this course because I myself was considering cut the cable and why not get paid to research it. So so I came up with this program. First time I did it was in November of 2016, expecting to do it 1 or 2 times. It sells out within the first hour or 2 every time because we only have 30 seats in our program room. And I believe this is the 14th time I'll be running this program. Now, I'm not going to just kind of give you some secret code to punch into your remote to get free TV. What this is going to consist of is kind of cutting everything down to nothing, and then we're going to build on that. Now, there's no right answer or right solution because everybody's needs are different. So I'm going to throw a lot of different options at you, and then it's kind of up to you to weigh those options and then determine what's going to work best and if that will actually end up saving you money in the long run. Because what I did for this is I kind of designed this to kind of mirror the cable experience without dealing with the cable companies. Now, over the course of 1.5 years now of doing this, I have to update this presentation every single time because the industry is changing so much, and they can see that it's shifting towards the streaming, no contract platform. A lot of the cable companies are also trying to catch up and giving you offers just for you to stick around. But there's going to be, it's getting easier and easier. But honestly, after each one of my presentations, I would say that 75% of the people have walked out of the room saying, forget it. Like, it's too much. Because it's simple with cable versus going to multiple platforms and services to find your television can be bothersome. So, however, with that being said, it's getting easier and easier and easier. So maybe if it's not good for you right now, revisit it in 6 months because guaranteed that the experience is going to be different. All right, so we might as well get started here. So I just want to hear some shout outs. What are people paying for TV and internet? Yeah. I hear everywhere from over $200 to about $150 being average for paying for cable, TV, and internet. Now, I don't know about you, but I still currently am paying for DirecTV, and I watch about 2 or 3 channels and about 4 shows, that I'm paying $150 for. All right. So what we can do, so like I said, we're going to start off by cutting everything, and then we're going to build on that. So unfortunately nowadays homes aren't built with antennas. We all grew up with antenna television. So if we just tell them to take a hike, we can go ahead and install an antenna on our home. You can get broadcast television, free local channels. There's no monthly bills. The equipment is fairly inexpensive, and what people don't realize is that you actually get the best picture from an antenna over cable and internet, or cable and satellite, because the signals are sent uncompressed. So you actually get true high definition picture and sound with your antenna television. All right, now you can go to dtv.gov/maps, this is on your handout, to put in your address, and you can actually get a list of the channels that you should receive at your home and the strength of those channels. So it's already on your handouts. All right, the antenna equipment you're going to need, you will need an amplified HD TV antenna with at least a 50-mile range. They can range anywhere from $30 to $100 if you buy them and install them yourself. You can get them on Amazon. If your house is not wired, you're either going to need to run coaxial cable to all the televisions in your home. If you have coaxial cable from Comcast, that will work. You can splice into that. Or you're going to need an antenna to every television you want to watch over-the-air broadcast TV on. And if you have an analog television, you will have to get a converter box. It's about $20 to convert that signal. Optional equipment would include a DVR, a digital video recorder, because just with an antenna, we need to make sure that we tune in on Tuesday at 7 o'clock to watch a show, otherwise we miss it. All right, we're also used to just setting it, forgetting it, and watching it at our leisure. So another option, and then I'm going to talk about those in a second, will be a DVR. Now, if you're not keen on climbing up on your roof or into your attic and installing an antenna, there is a local company. It's called Color Vision. It's out of Gilbert's. I don't get any kickbacks from putting their number up here, but I gave them a call. They're about the only one locally that will show up to your house. Family-owned business, 60+ years. They seem real nice people. They'll come out with the cheapest package, which is around $300, up to the most expensive package, which is around $600. We'll start with the cheapest, see if it works. If it doesn't, then we'll put the next tier and the next tier until you have adequate signal. That's what I've heard. Yeah, she was just mentioning that they had Color Vision out and it was excellent service, and a little bit more than what I mentioned, but so give them a call if you are looking to install an antenna. But I'm also going to discuss other options later that you can bypass the antenna and still get local channels for streaming. All right, so DVRs. I'm just going to talk about the 3 most popular. TiVo is the most popular in the business. However, it is one of the most expensive units. A TiVo has a great channel guide. However, you do have to pay for it, $15 a month if you buy a cheaper model. If you buy the most expensive model, around $500, you don't have to pay that $15 a month fee. It can double also as a streaming device that integrates with all the streaming apps, so you don't need additional equipment there. However, you can basically watch it on one connected television. If you wanted to expand it to other rooms in the house, there's additional equipment and wires that need to be run. So it's not very practical for multiple room experience watching your recorded television. But it is the most popular name in the industry. Tablo. Tablo is actually the one when I actually finally do go through with cutting, is the one that I'm going to go with. Now, Tablo isn't actually a DVR. Tablo is kind of like a hub that you plug your antenna wire into. All right, so it's getting the signal from the antenna, and it comes into this Tablo hub. The Tablo then either sends it to an external hard drive, which you have to purchase, which is about $50 for recording, or it will send it to a streaming device connected to another television in the home. So what this one does is it wirelessly broadcasts antenna television throughout your home. All right, so you don't need a wired home at this point. So if you want to watch recorded television on more than one TV in your home and you don't have the wired setup, this is a good option. All right, because it kind of collects the television signal and either sends it to be recorded or sends it out to all of the televisions. All right. It does have a channel guide fee of $5 a month or $150 for a lifetime. That channel guide that I was talking about is what you use to set up, like, record this series, you know, first run or, you know, first run and reruns. That guide. Otherwise, these are pretty useless. And the third option is the Channel Master. Now, somebody just approached me actually when I was coming up here that just bought this and said it's great. This one's only $100, and it also doubles as a streaming device, so you wouldn't need additional equipment there. You can record 2 shows at once, or watch live television and record another show. You can only watch it on one television, but there's no channel guide, so $100 and you're done. So if you don't mind watching your recorded television in the living room and not also in the bedroom or wherever else, this is a great option. All right. So we've got antenna television coming in. We've got it being recorded, scheduled on our DVR. So now we need to, again, build. So we're going to just kind of build and build and build, and you know what? The price is going to go up and up and up. And pretty soon we're going to reach the price of the cable anyways. But if you're like me, you're paying for cable and you're paying for streaming services. All right, so one's got to go, right? All right, so I neglected to make this slide the first time I did this presentation, and I got about halfway through the presentation and somebody raised their hand and said, well, what is streaming? Okay, so streaming is media being sent over the internet, and it's played in real time as it arrives on your device. All right, so it's never actually downloaded. It just kind of comes in through the internet, touches down, plays on your TV, and takes off. All right, so content is sent from a streaming service like Netflix or Hulu to a streaming player like a Roku or a smart TV, and then converts that data into video and sound. All right, so it's content from streaming services is available on demand and for unlimited use. So you can watch the same show over and over and over and over again whenever you want to. All right. So you're going to need internet if you're going to stream. Some very basic requirements for internet streaming. You're going to need at least 3 megabits per second to stream standard, 5 for high or 25 for ultra high. Now, as you all will know, when you have these contracts with AT&T and Comcast, when they run up, your bill goes up, you have to call back and sign another contract and renegotiate. It's going to go down just a little bit because now the minimum speed they offer is going to be 25 megabits versus before you were getting 18. So that's how they kind of get you. They kind of creep it up because they're ramping up that speed. So I think the minimum megabits per second now offered between AT&T and Comcast is 25 megabits per second. So you're not going to have a problem there any longer. Me, I live in the country. That's why I haven't cut the cable yet, where I get my internet from a silo down the street that a giant antenna on my roof points to. It's called line of sight, and I get a maximum of 8 megabits per second. It's the fastest I can get for $80 a month, but it's my only option. So, however, these numbers are for just streaming. So if you have a computer going and a phone on and you're surfing the web, that's all going to eat up your bandwidth. So remember that as well. All right, so some current pricing for internet. AT&T, their minimum is 25 megabits per second. They actually include a gateway rental. That's the modem and router, that flashing tall skinny box that comes. It's $100 to install, but you get a $100 gift card. taxes gonna run around $50 to $55 a month, just for internet. So if you are used to paying for cable and internet, one thing that you also can expect is that your internet bill will go up because you're no longer bundling, alright? So we're about $50 for internet. Comcast is notorious for hidden fees. Those shiny prices online, you can almost double it, is what you can guarantee. Because they include things like, in order to get that price, you need automatic bill pay and paperless billing and so forth. But they offer for about $25 a month. I think it's 25 megabits per second, or about $50 a month, or 100 megabits per second. So they also make you pay $10 a month for your gateway rental. You can go out and buy your own. It costs around 100, 150 bucks. And then you no longer get that on your bill. Also, you no longer pay tax if you're just getting internet service. So that's another way to reduce it. Disclaimer though, I did this when I had Comcast when I lived in town and I bought my own. And then the internet stopped working and Comcast said, not a problem. I had to call the router company that I bought, who actually picked up the phone right away and walked me right through it. So it was fine. Okay. All right, so we got internet now. So now we can start streaming, but however, we need to have a device that is going to convert that streaming data into picture and sound. So the number one device on the market right now, and one of the first, is a Roku. All right, so Roku, I feel, is one of the most adaptable, diverse devices out there. It plays nice with all the services, basically. Now, there's a bunch of different tiers that you can purchase, and people often ask, well, what's the difference? All right, so what's the difference between the $100 one and the $30 one? Well, the more expensive devices are going to have more features, like voice remotes and headphones. Also, they're going to have like 4K capability, which won't do you any good unless you have a 4K TV. So be sure to check into that. But they also have more memory. So just like a computer, the more memory a computer has, the faster it runs. So if you buy the real cheap Roku Express for 30 bucks, when you press the arrow over button to go to the next image, it might have more of a lag than the more expensive one's going to shoot right over. All right. So they're just faster with more features, but they all do the same thing, and they have access to all of the same things as well. All right. The next one is Chromecast. Chromecast ranges from $35 to $70. However, this one does not have a remote. You're going to need to control this with a smartphone or tablet with an app. All right. If you have an Android device, you're also able to mirror your screen onto your TV, meaning that whatever you see on your phone or your tablet, you can see on the screen up on your TV. All right. It's compatible with Netflix, Hulu, Sling, all the major ones that I'm about to talk about. However, not yet with Amazon Prime. All right. Now, this one actually, if you really kind of struggle with remotes, the phone or tablet is actually a much nicer remote. Instead of trying to press over, down to get into your email address with a flimsy remote, you can simply type it in on a keypad. So it's a lot nicer. All right. Amazon Fire TV, well, they just came out with a brand new one, I think this week, called the Fire Cube. It's more of like, I'm sure we've all heard of Alexa, where we can say, hey Alexa, what's the weather? Play this music. Well, it's kind of like a combination streaming player and Alexa. Hey Alexa, turn on my TV. Hey Alexa, I want to watch this show. She's going to pull it right up for you. Seems pretty cool. It's 120 bucks, or you can just get a Fire TV, which is 70, or a stick, which is 40. It also ties to your Amazon account, so if you've made any digital purchases through Amazon, they're going to appear in there. It's compatible with basically all the major streaming services, and then all of them actually include a voice remote. So you can say, hey, play this show. Apple TV is one of the most expensive ones out there because it's from Apple. It has to be. It ranges anywhere from $150 to $200. It's the only way that an Apple user can mirror their phone onto the TV, so that's where they get you. I have one, I'm guilty, because I have an Apple phone. So it is compatible with all the major streaming services. It's fast, I like it. All right, so other devices, you may not even need a device. Your TV may be a smart TV. When you hear the term smart TV, that's what it means. It means it's able to connect to the internet and receive data, meaning streaming services. A lot of Blu-ray players have streaming services built in. And all the gaming consoles, like Xbox and PlayStation, all have streaming capabilities. Now the thing about these devices like smart TVs and Blu-rays is they're kind of static. You can't add different services. If they're not that service that you want to subscribe to and use on your television is not available within that device, you're going to have to go out and buy a Roku anyways to access that service, because a lot of them just come built in with set different streaming services. All right, any questions on devices? No? Oh, yes?
How does the smart TV connect all that stuff?
Through wireless internet. You have to connect your
You
television.
have to have internet, you have to use
You have to
Wi-Fi.
use internet, yep. You have to have internet. Anything from this point forward, from where I had the internet slides, means you need the internet for it to work. All right. Also, one of the first times I taught this class, somebody came up to me and says, I got this tick box. And he bought it off some guy in a kiosk in a mall in Alabama. And so that I can get any channel or any show or any movie I want for free. And I was like, well, that sounds too good to be true. And for about a year, every time I did this, I checked all the slides to make sure the information is correct. Tickbox just kept on, the website just kept on tempting me for $100 to have free TV. I've lost more money at the casino faster. So I was like, maybe it's worth the gamble. Well, the last 2 weeks ago or so, I went on to tickbox.com, and the only page that appears is the support channel or support page. I've taken the rest of it down because Tickbox and other Android TV devices are designed to run off of software called Kodi. Kodi is a third-party software provider where users can upload content to the site and then anybody can access that library. Well, people were putting all sorts of pirated stuff on that site. And it just kind of went, and because that you were streaming, and watching streaming television, it was currently legal because you weren't actually downloading it. You weren't actually keeping it. It was just touching down on your TV and taking off. So that was currently legal, but now Hollywood cracked down this winter on these sites. And basically that guy has a useless box probably now on his television. So if it's too good to be true, usually it is. So I would not recommend it. All right, so we have devices now. Our TVs are connected to the internet. We have devices that are ready to receive streaming services. Now, these slides have gotten longer and more slides because different services are coming out every day. The biggest and the first one was Netflix. Offers huge selections of movies and past television shows. They have a huge selection of their own original content. In fact, Netflix about to release 1,000 new episodes or movies, original movies that they produced in 2018 alone. All right, so they are actually producing more TV than the networks are. You're not going to get a lot of current television, so things that aired this season aren't really going to be on Netflix, but maybe last season's will. It all depends on producers and all that, so there's no clear answer on that. But there are, you can spend most of your night looking for something to watch on Netflix, and by the time you actually get ready to watch something or find something, it's too late. So be aware of that. They offer a bunch of different options. They have premium, standard, and basic, and what that means is for $14 a month, this just went up for the first time in many years. You can use, you get your streaming in HD, and you can stream on 4 devices simultaneously. Now what that means is you can have 4 televisions in the house, all connected to Netflix, all watching different things at the same time. All right, so 4 people can access the single account at once. So I have this, and you know, every time I turn on my account, I see that one of my nieces has created their own channel, and you know, I gave one to my mom and to my grandma, and so everybody can access it from around the world. Doesn't matter where you're at. The standard one is only 2. And the basic is 1 with standard definition. Now Netflix does have a 1-month trial, so that's pretty nice. So it gives you a nice long time to try it out and see if you like it. Hulu. Hulu was the major, or the first one to offer current television seasons. All right, so with the basic Hulu, you can get ABC, NBC, and Fox, not CBS. They don't participate. And you get the current seasons. You probably get, they usually play the 5 most recent episodes, is all they retain, and they're usually aired maybe the next day or the next week. So there's a little delay in watching those. They also have lots of their own original content. They're also producing their own shows. So with limited commercials, it's $8 a month, or no commercials, it's $12 a month. You can stream 1 stream per account, and they have a 30-day free trial. Amazon Prime. A lot of us have Prime already for the shipping benefits and don't realize that we have an entire video library that we can access. There are thousands of TV shows, past TV shows, movies, and again, Amazon has their own award-winning original television shows. And also a thing about these streaming shows is that they release the entire season all at once. So you don't have to wait every week for your show to play. You can spend this all night long watching the entire season. All right. Amazon just went up in price for the first time in a long time, from $100 to $120 a year if you pay in full in a year. Besides getting all of the streaming services, you get the 2-day shipping, access to ebooks, as well as music and just cloud storage, all sorts of stuff. You can pay $13 a month if you don't want to pay in full, or you can just pay $9 a month if you don't care about the shipping and all that, just want the video services. And there's also a 1-month free trial. You can stream on 2 devices at a time. All right. So what about all of my cable shows and sports and news? All right. So we're going to step up. We'll also notice an increase in monthly fees. Hulu Live has 50+ top cable channels as well as your local channels available. You can watch on iOS, Android, Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Chromecast, all the majors. And you also get access to the whole Hulu library, so that library that costs you $8 a month is included. All right, and they have an enhanced cloud DVR as an add-on. You gotta pay like $5 more if you want to have a DVR. All right, and it's $40 a month and has a week trial. So if you went with an option like this, you don't need to mess around with installing an antenna on your roof or buying that DVR. And side note, DVRs do not record streaming services. You don't need to because they're always there. All right. Sling was one of the first ones to come out with cable options. Sling kind of considers themselves the a la carte streaming because you have all different kinds of packages ranging from $20 to $40, and they kind of include different cable channels. But for $20 a month, it has all the major networks as well as the basic cable shows. All right, and then depending on what you pay, you get more simultaneous streams. If you pay for the more expensive ones. All right, and they have a 1-week trial. PlayStation Vue, people are put off by this because they don't have a PlayStation. Well, you don't need to have a PlayStation. They have their own streaming network that ranges anywhere from $40 to $80 with 5 simultaneous streams per account, as well as a 5-day free trial. They're compatible with most devices. They have all the local and live television. And like that $80 a month is like the premium channels. So it's really actually a pretty good deal. If you paid for premium cable, what would that cost? $150 at least with all the HBO and Showtime. So if that's a pretty nice price point if you're going to go all in. Another thing to remember too, not that it ever works in my family, is that 5 simultaneous streams. I only have 2 TVs. My mom's only got 1 TV. You can go in with family members or neighbors, and split it, and then you both can have access. Yes?
Was it, did you say you earlier about Netflix, did you say your grandma has a TV?
Yeah, so I shared my login with my grandmother.
And she's in a different location?
Yeah. Yeah, so like any of these, that simultaneous stream is not restricted by location. So I shared, like my niece went off to college in Wisconsin, I gave her my login, so she could access Netflix, for free or on my dime while she was in college.
Well, thank you.
All right. So yeah, you can kind of share the burden if you want, even. DirecTV Now is actually a great deal. I have the actual DirecTV, which is not a great deal, but this one is what I'm going to go to once my contract is up. They've got 60 plus local and cable channels on demand and live. They offer reduced rates on premium channel add-ons, so if you want to have HBO, it's only $5 a month. It's $15 a month if you want to pay for it through cable or standalone. It's compatible with most streaming devices, and if you prepay, you can receive a free Apple TV. It's $150 to $200 value right there. You get a 1-week free trial and 2 simultaneous streams per account. Right now, there's a cloud DVR available with a 30-day storage capacity. All right, so you would be able to record your shows and save them in the cloud. You would not need any additional equipment to do so. So for $35 a month to have cable that you can record is a pretty good deal. Plus your internet, so I'll kind of give you some scenarios. All right, YouTube has their own television network as well. It just went up to $40 a month, but you can stream and watch live television, all the major networks and cable channels, as well as unlimited cloud DVR. You get a 1-month free trial. It has limited capabilities, all right? Or I'm sorry, limited compatibility. So it only works with only a few streaming devices. Now, they only get better over time. And if you really love CBS, CBS is kind of a snob. They stick off by themselves. You have to subscribe to them separately. If you're doing something like just the basic Hulu, where it's either $6 a month for commercials or $10 a month for no commercials. However, CBS is the regular CBS channel is included in all of those. From the slide, what about my cable shows on? Those include all local channels as well. Right? If you are really into sports, ESPN has their own streaming service. It's only $5 a month, and you get 6 simultaneous streams per account. You can record, pause, and rewind live games. Plus, you get full game replays on demand. It's compatible with most everything, and has a 1-week free trial. And you can add on, you know, some other sports services for about $25 a month. All right, I believe that's the end. Oh, no. Other popular streaming services. All the premium channels have their own service. If you buy them standalone, they're going to be more expensive, anywhere from $15 to $5 a month. However, like I said, a lot of these services can be bundled. So just like you can add HBO onto your Comcast bill, you can add HBO onto that DirecTV Now, or add it onto your Amazon for a reduced rate. All right? But if you don't want to, and you just want HBO for a month, you can do that independently for $15 a month, or any of the other ones. Acorn TV is a real popular one at the library. That is all British television and movies.
Wow.
$5 a month. Okay? And then there's also tons of free apps. You don't have to pay for all of these services. There's lots of free services out there with thousands of shows and movies available. These are just some of them, the more popular ones. What you're going to get though when you download these channels is commercials. That's why they're free. But they're not as many as a regular television. All right, the library has the Hoopla app. With your Hoopla app, you can download 5 movies a month with your library card.
Quick question.
Yes.
Can you override the commercials though, even though you?
No. Yeah, there's no fast forwarding. Yeah. Did I get you on there? All right. So, do we have any questions at this point? Yes.
When you want to watch like the Cubs or the Blackhawks or anything, right now the only way that I know you can get is like Comcast Sportsnet. If you don't have Comcast and you cut the cable from Comcast, can you get that content?
So if it's exclusive to Comcast, I think most of the games are going to be on some network, right?
I don't know.
They're going to be aired. They're going to be aired, you know, on some sort of cable network, not only through.
Like if you have to get the ESPN Plus, would it be on that channel?
Well, that one I'm pretty sure that's going to be like a safe bet for any sort of sports, but I can't tell you. I don't know. There's so many services, and they all offer different things. That was my next slide right there. Is you have to do your research. Like I said, there's no simple solution or answer that I can give you all because you all have certain channels and shows you want to watch, and you just need to like write it all out. Say, these are my shows. Where are these shows available? How much is it going to cost to subscribe to this service? Is that service compatible with my equipment? You know, how much is it going to cost in the long run? So it's really quite a lot to think about. That's what I said. A lot of people leave this presentation and say forget it because you know they're too spoiled. But if you're really into it, you know, set it and forget it. It's always there when you want it, right? Do I want to go to? Okay, sometimes I myself. Hate it when I sit down in the living room and think, okay, I'm in the living room, that means I need this remote to access this menu on this device and go to this service to watch this show, right? Yes?
Are you able to record something being streamed?
No, so that's the beauty of streaming is you don't need to record it because it's going to always be available, unless it's like one of those local channels, like the cable channels. If you're watching live television, you can record using a cloud DVR that is either included or available as an add-on to that service. So like the DirecTV Now, PlayStation View, all of those, you'd have to record. You can record that content on a cloud DVR. Now things from like Netflix and Amazon, there's no need to record because they're always there. So it's yes and no, I guess.
So using streaming, at what point do you exceed your bandwidth that Comcast allows you, and then you have to pay additional dollars?
Typically Comcast, you get a terabyte, I believe. I metered my usage at home, and at one, I think the highest I ever got through Comcast was 250 gigabytes. So I was well under. I mean, if you're gonna watch TV all day long, yeah, you might, but any reasonable amount of streaming, you'll be fine.
The antennas that's placed in the attics, are they sufficient?
Pardon?
Because there were restrictions I hear as far as external placed antennas on the roof.
So I don't know Del Web's rules. The company that I put up there said they do know the rules. Depending on the placement, I know that they have them small enough where you can just kind of put them in the back where nobody can see them, but you can put them in the attic even, and they'll work within the attic. But yeah, it all depends on where your house is placed, and there's no right answer for that one too. You got to play around with it. Yes.
If you have, let's say, a Hulu and a Sling, you need mobile remote controls to bring those in.
Yeah, so you do, like that's what I was starting to say, is like I have to sit down and actually kind of consciously think about which one I'm going to grab out of the basket to get things going here, because you're going to have to change your input. And if you get a smart TV, then you're basically going to one place to get all of your content. Like a menu appears at the bottom of your television when you turn it on, where you can select the different services. So it's getting easier, but yeah, no, you have to. It's not easy. Although that I watched an ad on that Fire Cube, and that one you can just walk into your living room and say, "Hey Alexa, turn on my TV. I want to watch this," and she'll cue it right up. So it's a no-brainer.
If you're a snowbird, and you know where you're staying south does not have a smart TV, can you suspend your services?
Yeah, so that's the great thing also about all of these services is there are no contracts. They are a month-to-month basis. All right, so they are going to, when you're done, you just pull up on a computer or an app and you say cancel, and it's done. No hassles, no contracts, done. Or if you buy like a Roku or a Fire Stick, it just plugs into the back of your TV. You take it out, you throw it in your suitcase, and then you turn that dumb TV into a smart TV by plugging that streaming device in.
I live in neighborhood 33 and they put the antenna in my attic. I get both the Chicago and the Rockford
Okay, great.
stations. Again, you do need to realize when you get a heavy rain, and if it's between you and Chicago, then those stations might have a little bit of a trouble.
Right.
Usually it's only channel 2 that has the
That's
trouble.
what I hear, yeah, channel 2 is
Yeah.
one.
And then you've already answered the one about going to other places. I have a Roku box, I just take it with me and I can
Yeah.
watch whatever.
Yeah, even when you travel to hotels, you can take that with you.
Just one thing I'd like to say is on Channel 2, you could get Channel 2 in Rockford on Channel 23 or on Chicago Channel 48-3. So if you haven't had your TV set on to automatically go to 48-3, it will, a lot of times, bring in Channel 2 very good. So remember that you have three choices. Usually with an antenna for Channel 2, you can get it on Channel 2, 23 from Rockford, or 48-3 in Chicago.
Yes.
I do streaming. I still need internet for my PC and all that. So what am I gonna do with that? I called already and they charged me $80 instead of $30 if I just take internet service.
I guess it depends on where you're at in your contract. That is typical, that big of a jump. I mean, you have other options. You can go just for internet from AT&T, it's gonna be around $50 a month.
Well, it's the same thing when I'm in Florida. I just took only internet and It would have been, if I bundle, it's $30 for TV, for internet, for phone.
Okay.
Nobody has landline. So I just wanted the internet, no TV, because I like those old shows I get on the antenna. And, I had to pay $75 instead of $30.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that's the same over here.
Right, so, I mean, you're gonna wanna shop around. To get those prices, those reduced prices, you also have to sign contracts. So you're gonna find yourself roped back into a contract with AT&T or Comcast. But yes, you can expect your bill to go up as far as, internet functions.
I've read that there's a common thread that's going on with Comcast. Start out on the East Coast, that they're starting to raise the rate of people who just want internet only because of this trend of shifting away from
Right, so
cable.
the slides that I put up are current offers from Comcast early on. So that's what you can expect with some extras, text and stuff included in there. So that's, you know, what you're gonna look at. You're gonna look at a little bit higher prices, but in the end, it can be a reduced cost, because I've got some slides coming up here. I'll get to your questions in a minute. Let me just cruise through. I've got a couple more slides and then we'll be done. And then I can answer as many questions as you have. So is it all worth it? There's a lot of things to consider. You need to be tech savvy, like which input, which remote am I gonna use? You need to keep track of multiple bills. It's not like you send in a check. These things are just coming out of your account on a certain day whenever you sign up. So how many TVs do you have? How much equipment are you gonna need? You're not gonna get much technical assistance from streaming services. And how lazy are you? Do you just wanna set it and forget it, or do you want to actively seek out those channels and those programs and track them down and maybe be on a schedule to get them watched under a certain time frame? All right, so there's some scenarios that I kind of put up here. A basic cable replacement scenario with no upfront costs. It's gonna run $85 a month or about $1,000 a year if you get that internet for $50 a month. DirecTV Now for $35 a month with the free Apple TV. All right, so you've got a streaming device, you've got a streaming service that has all the basic cable as well as internet. It's for $85 a month, so that's not bad, right? Scenario 2 is network television and streaming, so there's going to be some upfront costs, probably around $500. It's going to be a little bit less a month, $70 a month, or $856 a year if we're going to install an antenna and purchase DVR, and then you get internet and have things like Netflix and Amazon to supplement, so you have a little bit more content over that just network television. And a premium cable scenario, that's if we want like all the channels and the premium HBO and so forth. Upfront cost is going to be about $60 a month. I said that for some Roku devices if you don't already have them. And it's going to be about $135 a month for internet and all of those channels. Now, premium cable though is going to cost you about $200 a month. So you are saving. All right, so what am I going to do? My current bill is $150 a month. That's about $1,800 a year. So I'm going to have to fork out a bunch of money at first. You know, I'm sure that'll bump up to around $1,000 really, realistically. But I'm going to buy one of those Tablos because my house is not wired. I do not want to wire it myself. And I'm going to buy an antenna and put it up myself because I'm also cheap. And a couple Rokus, buy my wireless gateway so I don't have to rent that. I'm going to subscribe to Amazon and Netflix. I'm going to fill in any sort of programming gap from my local library. So it's going to cost me, the first year I'm really not going to save any money, right? Because I got to do all that equipment. But once I buy that equipment, it's mine. I'm not renting it anymore. So the next year I can look to save, you know, almost $1,000. So it's a pretty significant amount of money, especially considering like somebody like me, I only watch like 3 shows or 5 shows, you know. Seems outrageous to pay all that money just to watch those few shows. All right. So if this all sounds like way too much, don't settle for those high prices through your provider unless you're under contract, then they got you. But once your contract runs out, you need to call and renegotiate and be prepared to switch. I played games for years when I lived in town where I would, you know, have Comcast for a year and then AT&T out and then DirecTV and then go back to Comcast because they always have better rates and you get, you know, deals for signing up, gift cards, that sort of stuff. So, you know, be prepared to switch. And then don't forget about the library. We actually have 4 Rokus that you can check out using your library card. They come preloaded with a Netflix subscription, so you can go ahead and try that out for free, as well as some other popular channels. We have thousands of TV shows available on DVD, and we recently changed our checkout period to 2 weeks for those, as well as thousands of new regular movies. We also made a recent change where our new releases are holdable and available for 1 week checkout. So you can get all those new popular movies that just came out on hold. Also, some other resources you're going to want to check out before you go into this is a lot of people don't realize that you can access consumer reports online using your library card. I use it, it's on my phone all the time. Before I make any purchase, I always check consumer reports. So you can do that for any smart TVs or streaming devices. How you access it though, you can't go to consumer reports directly. You need to go to our website first and find that link under online resources and then consumer reports. Also the Huntley Library app, you can download and manage and search for materials and place materials on hold. Speaking of apps, we're getting a new one. It's currently available for Apple users. Android is coming soon, so your old app will be going away and no longer work, and you'll be replaced by a new one. Or your local librarian, you can call us up and we'll find anything you want, put it on hold, and bring it in for you. All right, so questions?
Yeah, as far as internet services, we've had Fox Valley wireless for a number of years. It's a very basic streaming at 3 megabits per second. And some of the speed tests have gotten as high as 7, which is kind of enough for streaming, you know, some things. I'm not quite sure if we can put that speed any farther with Fox Valley. Do you have any experience with that?
I do. That's how I told you I get my internet from a silo down the street. Me and 8 other people out in the country. I get mine through. I had Fox Valley out. They couldn't get a signal because I live in between Woodstock and Harvard in a real hilly area. I had 5 providers out trying to get signal because how that works is that you need to have a direct line of your dishes need to have a direct line of sight with one another. So in order to do that, I have a ranch. They had to do a tripod and like a 15-foot pole with a dish on it so it could reach it. And I get a total of 8 megabits per second. It's the maximum speed I receive. And it's enough for me to stream in HD. Now these streaming services are kind of smart as well as your television. As if it's, rather than it freezing and you watching that buffer wheel, it automatically reduces the quality of the picture. So you're going to see it kind of go a little fuzzy. So at least you can watch it rather than it freezing. So these services are kind of built for those lagging speeds as well. But you know, if you're going to be doing that, you need to make sure that you turn off your tablet and, you know, other things that are connected to the internet because it needs that dedicated amounts I showed you earlier just to stream. Or change your settings to standard definition.
Okay. For those residents here in Sun City who are unable to get to the library, is the library still offering the home delivery system?
Yes, we do. You want to maybe see Donna? I don't know if we have any literature with us today, or you can just give us a call, and yeah, we come to your home.
Okay.
We can bring DVDs and.
You haven't mentioned Dish. TV. I've had that for years.
Mhm.
Is that still going to be viable?
So that is cable, basically.
Right.
It's just a different method of receiving it into your home. So that's kind of what we're getting rid of. So that DirecTV Now is a streaming service offered through the Dish company. So it's still the same service with no dish and no contract, which is really nice. You don't have to have anybody come out to your house and install anything. So, but ultimately we are trying to get rid of that.
Another option for getting Wi-Fi is your phone. If you up the,
So you don't want to do that. Trust me. Streaming data is not the same as, does not count if you get an unlimited data plan. Streaming is not included in that. So you're going to run through that. My neighbor did that for when the Cubs were in the World Series. She opened her bill, she watched all the games, she opened her bill, it was $800 for streaming through her phone all those games. Yes.
If I cut in my cable, how would I get enough Wi-Fi? And a lot of devices are depending on Wi-Fi.
Right, so no, we're
You
not.
cannot do Apple FaceTime and no
Right.
text message.
Right, so we are cutting
That's the downside.
the television portion of the cable, but we are keeping the internet portion. All right, so, if you want to completely cut everything, then yeah, you're stuck with broadcast television and no internet. I mean, that's what so we started out real basic and then we just built on it. So you will need to kind of tell them to take a hike, but wait, I still want internet. So you will need that because everything else, you're right, everything else depends on Wi-Fi. Printers, computers, everything.
So Rob, did you talk to your neighbors and see if they wanted to do the same thing as you, so you could split the bill? And have-
Well, no, so they don't have internet, that was the problem. And that's why they got it through their phone, because they are like buried in a grove of giant trees and there's no way they can get it out of their house, so.
Other than a long Cat 5 cable, huh?
Yeah, they have to really, splice into my very slow internet to,
Okay, I think we want to make one comment is that, watch your schedule. We might have some classes in the computer room on this subject coming up, a little different than the last ones, where we just talk about the low price connection. And maybe if we got interest on the high price, we'll talk about that too. There is, I'm doing a similar, I still have cable, but I reduced my Dish account. I don't have local TV on it anymore. I'm using the antenna for that. So that brought my bill from $90 down to $40. And I lost a few channels too. But I got those back on YouTube. So I didn't lose it. So we can talk about an extreme low price system that it might help a lot if you're more flexible in your viewing habits. Okay, watch the schedules.
All right, one last thing for me as well. If you need a library card, we have Donna in the back. She is issuing new cards to residents. If you do not already have her, please stop by and see her. She's way in the back.
Stand up, Donna.
There she
There we
is.
are. Get your library card today if you don't have one. They are very valuable. Last thing I wanted to mention was that if you are still not getting our newsletter, please contact Jim Nelson, and we'll see what we can do about figuring out why you're not getting it. Thank you very much.
One more, please. There were some comments this morning about the newsletter being difficult to open or read on phones and maybe even on small tablets. We're working that out, and we'll send out an announcement relative to how to make that work. And there are limitations, we'll also mention that. And finally, the people who volunteered for the coffee